So, Canada, you're working really hard, you're putting money away, you're doing all the things that you've been taught to do by mainstream financial gurus. And why are you doing all this? It's because you want to retire, you want to take advantage of opportunities, you want to help your family get ahead. And for some reason, you can't seem to escape the rat race. What if I told you that you don't have to take a whole lot of risk in order to grow wealth in Canada? What if I told you that you're already doing most of the things that you need to do today to create wealth in Canada? What's up? Vern McCarty here, authorized infinite banking practitioner through the Nelson Nash Institute. And I love my job because I get to work with Canadians just like you every single day, coaching them to create a peaceful, stress-free financial life. When? Now. Not waiting 30 years to enjoy the wealth and abundance that you deserve today. We need to clearly identify the problem before we know what the solution is. So let's go through the top 5 reasons why you're stuck in the financial rat race. So Canada, reason number 1, you need to rethink your thinking. Not only think, but we need to think about our thinking, okay? Where is all of your hard-earned money? And I say all of your hard-earned money. Where is your money flowing today? And I'm not talking about investments. I'm not talking about savings. I'm talking about before you do anything with money, the money has to actually get deposited. The capital needs a home, a warehouse. It needs to be stored somewhere before you go and use it or before you take advantage of any kind of an opportunity. Heck, before you even go to the grocery store, there is a process that has to occur. And that process is called banking. All of your hard-earned money today is flowing to someone else's bank. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. You're the one doing all the work and someone else is getting all of your money. And more importantly, that someone, i.e. the bank, the commercial bank, is putting that money to work to create profit. And who are they creating profit for? Are they creating profit for you? I don't think so. They're creating profit for the shareholders of the bank. So they're using Canadians' hard-earned money, your deposits, to grow profit for their business. That seems like a problem for me. That's the number 1 reason why you're stuck in the rat race, is all of your money, that energy of that capital is creating momentum for someone else's bank. And it simply doesn't have to be this way. In our Nelson Nash's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, Unlocking the Infinite Banking Concept, he taught us that the problem is banking. Money is flowing to someone else's bank, and that bank is putting all of that money to work. And you're giving up the opportunity to grow that money because they're harnessing the energy. Well, one of the ways that we can solve this problem is by implementing the process of becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept, and becoming the banker in our own life so that the money is flowing back toward our bank instead of somebody else. It's flowing back toward the family instead of someone else's family. This is what all of the wealthiest people on the planet do. They don't go and borrow money from somebody else's bank and send money away from the family. They find ways to circle the wagons and keep the wealth within the family. What do banks actually do? Do they go out and invest money with risk like they teach us to do? Or do banks lend money with security? Think about that for a second. They lend money with security. Well, what if you could do all this yourself? What if you could lend yourself the money and you could make payments back to your own system under your terms? That's what becomes possible when you implement the process of becoming your own banker. And I've done this myself along with my teammates, and I coach Canadians just like you every single day to start implementing the process of becoming your own banker. So if we can do this, you can do it too. Reason number 2. You've been taught to put your hard-earned money in the hands of somebody else who thinks that they can do better with it than you can. We're constantly giving up control over our money. I earn the money and I got to pay my mortgage. I earn the money and I got to go and pay for my car loan. I earn the money and I got to get rid of that line of credit. I earn the money and I've got to put it in the RESP, the RRSP, the TFSA. You're always handing control of your money over to somebody else who thinks that they can do better with it than you can. And guess what? Whether you win or you lose, they get paid anyway. There's always a price to pay for that type of a service, and they should be paid well if they're doing a good job. If they're growing the money, then they should be compensated. But even if they don't grow the money, you still have to compensate them anyway, and you're the one who's left picking up all the pieces and trying to figure out what is the next step when your money drains down to zero because of some economic crisis that goes on. You have so little control over the growth of your money when we put it into things like the stock market or we hand it over to somebody else to take care of it for us. The reality of it is nobody cares about your hard-earned money as much as you do. So the capital, the control, that money should be in your hands so that you can do more with it and achieve more objectives. And now you're spending probably 90, 95, sometimes 100, maybe even 110% of what you're earning just to pay for your lifestyle. And what is the old rule that we've been taught? Well, save 10% of everything that you earn. First of all, 10% just is not going to do the job, especially in today's world. But here's the deal. You're focusing all of your energy and time on trying to grow this 10%. That means you have to get 20, 30, 40, 50% rate of return on this 10% of your income to try and actually grow it and create something. But you're missing a huge opportunity. What's the opportunity? 90% of your money or more is flowing out of the door. It's flowing away from you and you can't grow that money. But this can all change by implementing the process of becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept, because we can deposit our capital into a system that we own and we control, and it can grow 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, growing your capital uninterrupted while maintaining access to that capital without interrupting the growth. And now I'm not losing momentum on my money. Reason number 3 that you are stuck in the rat race is that you've been taught to go to someone else's bank to access more capital when you need to take advantage of an opportunity or have a problem that you need to solve. What do you need to do? You got to jump through all those hoops. You got to do a credit check, income verification. You might need to put up your home as collateral. You might have other assets that you need to put as collateral. Do banks generally like to lend money to those individuals, to you? If that's you right now, if you own a business in Canada, you know what I'm talking about. You've been denied a loan when you couldn't figure it out. You're showing all of this revenue, but they don't care about that. They love that T4 income employee, high income, low debt, crystal clear, sparkling credit. Clearly, the bank balance sheet or what the bank is looking for doesn't account for that thing called life. All kinds of things happen in your life, and someone else has all of the control in determining whether or not you're going to be able to access money to take advantage of opportunities. And that's one of the problems that you're facing, is that you have to go to someone else's bank to access more money to achieve objectives that you have today, whether that's acquiring a vehicle or a great investment opportunity. And that's part of the problem. So Canada, reason number 4. It's easy to see when the stock market takes a crash or your real estate values go down. You can see those things. You can see the pain and the impact of that type of an event. But what about the unseen? What if I told you that there are things that you're doing every single day right now that are killing your opportunity to grow wealth? I call them unseen wealth transfers. So in this book right here, The And Asset for Canadians, that was written by Caleb Williams and the founder of our company, Ascendant Financial, that's Jason Lowe, he does a great job of describing what he calls wealth transfers. There are unseen wealth transfers that are happening every day. What are the types of wealth transfers that I'm referring to? Now, again, this requires a little bit of thinking differently. There's something called opportunity cost. And every single time a dollar is used or deposited in somebody else's bank, we're giving up the opportunity to grow that dollar. Don't worry about how we're growing it at this point. Just think about the dollar itself. When you spend a dollar, you're not just spending that dollar, you're spending the opportunity to grow that dollar. And banks understand this, that money has to be kept in motion. Nelson would say that there's 2 types of work. There's either people at work or money at work. Who do you want working really hard? You or your money? Now, I've been mentioning the process of becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept in Canada. And you might be thinking, gosh, I'd love to hear more about this process of becoming your own banker, because it seems to be tied in to all of the solutions that come up as it relates to solving these problems that are keeping you on the rat race. So I want you to go to watchibc.com. That's watchibc.com, where you're going to get access to a 90-minute webinar that will expand on this conversation, this process called becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept in Canada. There will also be a link in the post description below to take you to watchibc.com so you can get access to that 90-minute webinar. What's reason number 5? Well, I could not get away from this video without talking about inflation. People think that inflation is a really natural occurring phenomenon, and maybe to agree it is, but the main driver for inflation is its supply and demand. When the banks and the government are supplying more dollars to the economy than the local business owner, you're a business owner, you're experiencing this right now. What are you asking for? You're asking for more of those dollars for the same amount of goods, because we have the same amount of goods floating around, but there's more dollars in circulation. So that's the main driver for inflation. And a lot of Canadians don't realize that you are unknowingly and unwillingly contributing to the inflation problem just by borrowing money from banks, because that's how the money supply is expanded, is through issuing of loans. Taxation is going to increase, and all these things are happening, and that is a result of inflation. So just think about, how are we going to pay this bill? It's going to come from things like registered accounts that when you access the money, every single dollar that comes out is being taxed. So inflation is a big time killer. Congratulations, Canada. You stuck around for all of the top 5 reasons why you are stuck in the rat race. Well, I'm going to give you a little bonus reason because you stuck around all the way to the end. Well, now you get to see reason number 6. This actually is the most powerful reason in my mind that you're stuck in the rat race. Have you ever heard of this little thing called diversification? What do they tell you? Oh, get a little bit of this, get a little bit of that. When this isn't doing very good, this will be doing better. So that'll help balance out your growth or mitigate losses and all those fun things. Okay, well, what are Canadians doing right now? They're borrowing. They're borrowing. What you have is what I call it reverse diversification. You have a diversified debt portfolio. Think about that for a second. Anytime you borrow money from somebody else, you've officially became their asset. An asset puts money in your pocket, and a liability takes money out of your pocket. So if you borrow money from somebody else, that's taking money out of your pocket. Well, where's that money flowing to? It's flowing to their pocket. So you've just became someone else's asset by borrowing from them. But you're not just borrowing for a car loan. You're not just borrowing for a student loan. You're not just borrowing for a mortgage. Maybe you have all of the above. That's a diversified debt portfolio. Each one of those loans, each one of those types of debts that you have, they have a specific guaranteed interest rate that you're paying, and they're compounded in different ways. So you're actually somebody else's asset, and you're actually compounding money in reverse. You're compounding debt. So diversified debt portfolio, reverse diversification, all those debts that you have, that's reason number 6, bonus reason why you cannot escape the rat race. Click this link right here where I share the top 5 secrets of the infinite banking concept in Canada, because you'll get even more value out of this one.